Hey guys, my art 1 students. I want to say this is week 8. A lot of you seniors, I wanted to go see you guys today. I'm not feeling so great. I don't know. I'm staying away from my mom. I got some groceries for her, and I get this occasional. It's not that cough. It's something else. I already went to online, but I'm not having. It's Monday, and that's why it took so long to put the video on and finish the work. I had to do grocery shoppings between Saturday and Sunday. But anyways, for my seniors and all you guys, I'm gonna update the grades for the semester tomorrow at night, the 19th on the 20th. For you seniors, you can check out. Congratulations, Mazel Tov, you graduated. I really wanted to go there today, and even wearing a mask. But Mr. Forley said if us teachers were not feeling well, not to show up. Didn't want to get any of you guys sick. And I'm going to show you what I've been working on. Now, my room's really dark right now, and I had a lot of meetings today. So, but I did get most of my comic strip done. So, we started off. Let's review. You guys, I told you guys you could create any kind of hero, sidekick, and villain you could make. I want you guys to use a style that comes easy for you guys. I went with, and it's not, when you come out with your original ones, it's hard duplicating them real quick. And I told you guys, just 6 slides. I did more than 6. So first you add your hero. Here's my hero. The sidekick. Here he is, my sidekick. My bad guy. Okay. Give them names. You wrote your biographies. I wrote my biographies too. Here's my bad guy. I gave the bad guy a henchman. And I gave the good guy's sidekick a love interest. I kind of like stories when there's a love interest. There's a purpose. I don't want to get too political. Then I asked you guys to come out with a simple diagram plot. This is your outline. This is how you start off. You draw the lines. You have your beginning, rising action, climax. You have your climax right there, dropping action, and then a cliffhanger. No happy endings or sad endings, okay? There's a cliffhanger. Very postmodern. There's no resolutions. I'll show you my cliffhanger in a little while. And then here's where I filled it up. Remember? That's what we did last week. We filled it up. We basically put our whole story there. I don't need to write an outline. I don't need to write a story. I'm going to use this. I'm going to chop off, pick from here, and write my dialogue. It's already written here for me. It was all the brainstorming. On the back, I made my notes, which a lot of you guys did too, on how different types of dialogue bubbles, action bubbles, climax bubbles when they're having a fight, thought bubbles, which I should have put. So I pretty much got that done. Then I tried Sunday to work on this. I was not feeling too well. So I did my introduction. So what I did is I grabbed 3 sheets of paper. 1, 2, 3. I ended up with 4. And you guys just fold it in half. So one side, this is all I expect. You guys to do one scene here. I went a little bit more. So I like telling. So I have my introduction here, the title of my comic strip. It's a comic strip, not a comic book. And here's my beginning scene, which I have the vampire. This is this girl at a boarding school, and she needs to use the bathroom, sits, does her business, basically what I've been doing all day, because I have Montezuma's. Whoops, you did not hear that. She's trying to flush the toilet, and unfortunately the vampire breaks through the glass and kidnaps her. Okay, so, and then it starts off, our hero, who is a professor, he gets fired because nobody believes in all the weird stuff he believes in, like vampires, ghosts, and so he's a PhD in medicine, a PhD in physics, biology. So he's like a genius, too smart for his own good. Well, he gets a letter from the girl's mom. So he comes over here. Here he is with the girl's mom. So notice the dialogues, 3 dialogues. However, I did something I haven't done you could do a carry-on conversation. So the mom says, "My daughter's lost." They go, "Well, who do you think you took her? Do you have a picture of her?" Of course, he wants to look at a picture, the sidekick. And she tells him she is now at the boarding school of this German Austrian count who is in his castle. So basically, she gives him the address, and here they are. While they're going there, so I should write this down on my narrative block. So Kuko, the hunchback, is telling her, "Quick, get inside the castle. There's strangers coming up." And they're basically trying to apply for a job as a lab assistant and a teacher for this girl's finishing school up here in Styria, Austria. And there's the scary castle that's been turned to a girl's sporting school. They sneak in or they walk in, and there's our hero, the sidekick, and he's being called in behind this chair where we meet our right here, the count. They actually meet, and he hires them. He tells his son, who's a vampire too. Here's the count again. Tells his son about the new teachers he's hired. He's the math teacher. The following day, notice I haven't even added the storyline. I have our sidekick here. He looks up the castle's wall, sees the girl, calls her down to have a little snowball fight. And they have a snowball fight right here. They make friends. He tells her, "We're here to rescue you, take you back to your mom." Later that evening, the math teacher, who's also a vampire, tries to attack him. Instead, he shoves the math book into the vampire's mouth. Then they try to go and try to find his coffin. They think he's the vampire, the math teacher, only not the count. So they go in there. They sneak into one of the tombs. They come in here, and he sees where the vampire is hiding. Here's our sidekick. Goes in there, drives a wooden stake. But they get in trouble because the main vampire is the count, and he's basically here introducing the girl to the other girls in the boarding school who are also vampires. And we don't know that yet. And they're trying to, right here, they're trying to escape after killing the vampire, but they walk into a tower. Here's Kuko. He basically runs the wall, gets out, and they think they're all alone, locked in. But right behind them is the count, and he tells them up there in the tower that they made a mistake. And Kuko, all we have is, here's my cliffhanger. Kuko's making 3 coffins. So I leave that. There's my cliffhanger. More than 6 scenes? Yeah. Some of your classmates have already finished their comic strips. I mean, I was like, wow, that's a lot. Some people are really into comic strips. And I'll be honest with you, it's not easy for me either. So that's why I told you guys, if you want to make something like Aliens, if you've done something that's easy for you to draw and redraw again, go for it. And I'm gonna turn this around, and we're gonna work a little bit on this. Okay, this next week. I just need you guys by next week, if you're still with us. I know my seniors want to check out early, but try to finish. I'm going to ask you guys to please, try to finish it. Try to put in the dialogue. So I have no dialogue right now in my comic strip. Now, you're thinking, Mr. Navas, let me put you guys so you can see it. You don't see that painting I have never finished of my sister like a nun as a practical joke. She's not happy about that painting. You don't need these fancy pens, those filters. I tell you why I don't like them. And a lot of people who go and do comic books, not that much. They're good. They're useful. Don't get me wrong. But a good old-fashioned, affordable, I don't want to say cheap, but the affordable ballpoint pen sometimes is much better than this. Okay, not only that, you can control the ink much better with this. This, if you press too hard, it bleeds everywhere. And most artists I know, the biggest trend about 2 years ago is drawing in blue ink. I even had friends of mine who are conservative artists who don't like using blue ink. But most 20-year-olds, the hipsters, whatever, I even done it myself. You could create value, shadow, and light. So if you have blue ink, that works great too. And the reason we trace it with ink, I'll show you why. So right now, I would say, first of all, dialogues. Let me show you why I like this better than this. You're going to see how easy it is to control. Okay? See that? If you guys can see, I'm going to put this down. And hopefully you guys can see this. Okay, that's why. Now, if I use this, this is what's going to happen. Okay, it makes it thicker. You have to control it very careful. See that? And yes, they are expensive. They're nice to use. I remember when we were working on the, what was it, the kaleidoscopes? Yeah. The problem is when you get into these fine details here, and this is a problem I had. If we're not careful, if we press too hard, we can mess it up. And that's the problem I was getting scared with. So right here with the texture of her hair, I have to be very careful. So I actually prefer, believe it or not, if I'm just doing this for a hobby, just use hatching lines. Here she is. And we can actually, if we mess up, we can always hide it. So I would say if you have a ballpoint ink pen, that's good. And they're actually more affordable. Sometimes for for $1 or $2, you can get a whole box. That's okay. So I would advise you later on when you're done with your whole comic book and you're writing, do it with ink. So this is how we did. I started off my narrative block. I went back to my here we go. Remember this, guys? This is my script. I don't need to write a lot. I don't even have to, all I have to look is at my biography and this. And that's all the writing I need to do. So I just started off once upon a time in Vienna at, let's say, at a girl's boarding school. And we're going to call her Penelope. Penelope. And I'm actually rushing through this. Rush to use the bathroom. Let's call it the water closet. Everybody back then knew what the water closet was. You don't want to call it the bathroom because there's no bathtub. It's just a toilet. And we all know what that is for. As soon as... And use your best penmanship. As soon as she reach, comma, she reach for the toilet paper. Or you can say flush, but I'm going to go toilet paper. The grasp of the vampire, or the vampire's grasp. Let's go with that. The vampire's grasp. Crash through the glass. Crash through I think I misspelled this. And abducted her. There we go. Abducted her is the proper word. Kidnapped. She's not a child anymore. Abducted her. While chewing on her neck. You guys watch a lot of horror movies while biting her on the neck. So I have that scene right up here. Now, here's what I would do. I would back here, just to keep it organized, I would do 1, 2, 3. Whoops. 1, 2, I already messed up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I messed up. So I have my first scene. So notice that. So I wrote, this should have gone on top. But the reason I went with this down here is because I really wanted, I'm a visualist. I see the story first, the visual story. So here's the vampire. She's seated here on the toilet. She's reaching for either the toilet paper down here or to pull the toilet. And all of a sudden, the vampire attacks her from here and grasps her and kidnaps her. So her mother writes her a letter to Professor. What are we going to call him? Got to look at my notes and my biographies. Just to get in the set of mind. What do we call this guy? Oh my god, I can't even read his name anymore. Let's just call him the professor. So the professor right here, he says, I have a job. We have a job. So he's going to he screams this out. We have a job. Exclamation. So he's right here. I wrote that in. So here, this is a scene later. So down here, I don't have room. So can you tell us about the case? So I can write, so who is your daughter? So who is she? So might have to make this bubble a little bit longer for dialogue. So I drew the professor, his glasses here. So sometimes it's good just to write the words first and then circle it. So what is her name? What is her name? Now later I'm going to trace, whoops, I can always trace this later with ink, which I'm going to do. I'm going to show you. So what is her name? Question mark. So I'm going to recircle this, erase some of the stuff I drew already. And even if your bubble looks a little bit warped, that's okay. You can always fix that later. So now I'm going to take my pen very gently. So what is her? And notice I'm not doing it over the letters, because I think I just want more room away from his mouth. So what is her name? So now I'm going to do the cool. I can pull this off now. So we have one question here. He's not going to talk anymore. Whoops. There we go. Wait for that. You have to wait for this kind of ink to dry quick. Her name is Penelope, so it would go 1, 2. Oh, that is a lovely name. Her name is Penelope. My daughter. My girl. I cannot write daughter, so I'm going to say my girl. We understand. Is she married? That's all he cares about. Is she single? Is she married? Is she... Typical young man. All he cares about is getting a girlfriend. And she goes, no. She's single. Okay. So I connected her speech. This kind of lets me know because it's higher. This is first. Her name is Penelope. So, but we always look at this guy first. So, already got the speech done. In here, I just want to say get in. Cuco the hunchback tells her just to get in. Get in. Capital letters, you know. He's being... And this could be an exclamation. He's probably telling her and commanding her. And I'm not done with Cuco yet. I did this really rough because really quick last night and this morning. So I'm doing it, give me a scratch. And there she is right at a distance. So they arrived to the castle. I already wrote the dialogue here. So notice He says, welcome to Styria. So the professor's already telling him we're in Styria. That's a province of Austria, southern Austria. And then the sidekick says, right here, his little shadow, if you can see, is she at the boarding school? Is this the boarding school where Penelope is? So now you want to circle the question. And then you can trace it off later. If you want later on, and remember at the beginning of the school year, I taught you guys how to use hatching lines. Use that. Follow the form of the building. So I want to make this look like it's not just a castle. I want it to look like snow too. So I'm using this to make it look like it's at night. So later on, if I want to color it, and I'll show you a color version later on. Oh, Lord, oh, Lord, oh, Lord. So here's our next scene. See that? So here, what I'm going to do is our villain who enters my house, who worms their way into my home. Worms. So I shouldn't have done the bubble first. Always do the bubble last. Don't do what I did. So you can say, so who worms themselves like a worm? Worms themselves into my, I was going to say school, but yeah, you know what? Into my school. Let's go with that. Exclamation. He's not happy. But these are the guys, they basically going to say they applied for the job for physics teacher and all that. There you go. I'm Professor Ambrosius. Let's go. I changed his name. And then I can write the narrative block here. So I start filling in. I would write my dialogue first. So remember, follow the rules of threes. No more. So I have, he answers who is it? He responds the answer. And he can say, I'm scared. So right here, I have my other bubble, another bubble. Here, I can give them thought bubbles for vampires. Or I can put a thought bubble down here, or just leave it blank and write down here in the narrative. Back here, they're playing around, so you could put exclamation. Later on, I can write about the story here, what's going on. So the sidekick starts hunting down the vampire, drives a wooden stick through it, but he kills the wrong vampire. It's basically the count who's controlling his girlfriend, or the girl. They're just friends right now. And 1, 2, 3. And then, again, they're trying to escape, trying to save the girl. Instead, they get locked in. The vampire confronts them. And Kuko's making 3 extra coffins. There's my cliffhanger. So, and you can add narrative blocks using, again, this information. So by Saturday, try to get you just need to do 3 sheets, 6 scenes. So you fold it in half. Don't do 8. I know some of your classmates, if they start bragging they did, I'm not going to say how many they did, because I have to look at it and read it. But just keep it 3 sheets of paper, fold them in half, and 6 scenes, and that's it. If you want to do 8, okay. If you want to do more than 8, email me, please. But keep it short and sweet. So right now, you should have by Saturday. Take pictures of your 3 sheets of paper, and you show me your 6 scenes, okay? So here's my cliffhanger, the 3 coffins. Here is, I know I do more, but you don't have to do what I did. So here we are developing the story from my plot diagram, my conflict rising, and my introduction on top, and setting up the story, the action. You don't have to do that detail. Now, if you want to draw, some of you guys are drawing like aliens, or they look like Pokemon meets Lilo and Stitch aliens. I'm okay with that. Just and also don't complicate the story that much. I kind of complicated the story. Don't do that. That's something us old folks. A lot now people have turned in their comic strips. Wow, they really have. They're really good, great storytellers. So it's okay. Don't worry. Just keep it simple. Follow your diagram, okay, your plot diagram. That's it. You don't have to do any more writing. You're gonna take the same words. That's what I did. I used the same stuff I wrote here, put it in there. Nothing else. And your imagination. We all use our imagination. It will be a sad place if you are not allowed to express yourself. And I want you guys to express yourself through your imagination. So, again, meet me on Google Meet if you have any questions tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. Friday, just check in. Let me know that you're okay. Okay, and that counts. Just one check in. This counts for the whole week. If you turn in your work early, you take pictures. That's how much I got, Mr. N. I'm not fully done. That's okay. I don't expect you guys to be finished with your 6 scenes. But if you have 5 or 4 scenes, you're good. Next Monday is I'll show you my finished product. I'm going to make a copy and I'm going to color it. You don't have to color. If you don't have colored pencils, do it in black and white. If you don't have fancy pens, don't use the fancy pens. Like I told you, sometimes a ballpoint ink pen is the best thing to trace over it. If you don't have a ballpoint ink, leave it in pencil. Because you want to change your minds too. I would keep, and then, yeah, and then touch up your writing. Make it look nice and clean and legible. Other than that, yeah, just let me know you're working on it. Seniors, I know you graduate a little bit early, but if you can, some of you guys are finishing the project really quick. Sorry. But try to get it in. Try to work on it next week. I will put in the grades again, but some of you guys, if you want to pull up your grade, I'm going to help you pull up your grade. I'm not going to, all you guys in general, not just the seniors. But I need you guys to help me to help you guys, okay? So other than that, seniors, if I don't see you again, congratulations. Tough year to be graduating. If there's a graduation ceremony in July when it gets better, I'll definitely be there. Like I said, I couldn't go today because I just didn't feel well. I didn't feel well, and I didn't want to get anybody sick, or I didn't want to get worse than I am right now. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys. I'm gonna load up the video, and again, if you have any questions, call me up in Google Meet or email me. Okay, guys, and you already know the 3 ways to check in for the week. You turn in your work. That counts for attendance before Friday or Saturday, this case. 2, I cannot do attendance on Saturdays too, so email me before. If you can't turn in the work early, or you have to turn it on Saturday, email me first. You can email me. Turn in your work or call me up on Google Meet, check in, and I immediately give you the 20 points. And that's it, guys. Take care, be safe, and be healthy, okay? Talk to you later.